What's good, YouTube? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Pull Up. I am Tony Ramsey, giving you a quick recap of the latest and greatest in the NBA today. We had a lot of games on the schedule for last night, so without any further delay, let's go ahead and jump into it. One of the more interesting games last night was the Thunder facing off with the Clippers in OKC. The Thunder coming off their first win of the season, whereas the Clippers are off to a surprising start. They're now 4-2 in the season going into this game. The Thunder actually used a pretty big third quarter to pull away in this one. They took this game 128-110 behind 32 points from Russell Westbrook, 32 points from Paul George. A little bit of chippiness here between Clippers Patrick Beverley and Russell Westbrook. They do have some bad blood where Beverley dove into Russell Westbrook's knees a couple years back in the playoffs, injured his knees, caused him to miss the rest of that series. They also got into it a couple times later on in a few more matchups. In this one, Beverley did dive into Westbrook's legs looking for trying to get a loose ball, and Westbrook did not like that, of course. These guys just chilling, they don't like each other, but back to the game action. The Thunder, as I mentioned before, used a 39-10 third quarter to pull away in this one, and they look like they're starting to catch their stride finally with Russell playing his third game now, and they are now 2-4 on the season. He did shoot 13-25 from the field. Paul George with 32 points as well, 9 of 18 from the field, and 11 of 14 from three. Just a really good game here for the Thunder to build on as the season progresses. The Clippers are going to be competitive all season long, but I still think they will be out of that playoff picture. I don't think they have enough offensively to still contend for too much longer in the West. They are off to a good start, gives their fan base something to be proud of. But I think pretty soon they're going to come back down to earth and be right around that 500 mark. Another game from last night, we had the Miami Heat losing to the Charlotte Hornets in Charlotte, 125-113. Big game here for Charlotte. Malik Monk, I believe, had like 24 off the bench. Tony Parker 24 off the bench and 11 assists, looking like the Tony Parker of old here. Malik Monk with 20. Kemba Walker with a quiet 19 points. And for Miami, they did get 19 off the bench from Dwayne Wade. Hassan Whiteside with 16 points, 12 rebounds. But overall, pretty slow game here for the Heat on the road. Charlotte's now 4-4. Miami's now 3-4. The Hawks lose to the Cavaliers in Cleveland. This is Cleveland's first win of the season. I did watch this game, and the Cavs played a little bit more inspired basketball now that they decided to go with their younger players, let them get more of the minutes here, and it showed in their energy. They got a pretty big game from Rodney Hood. 26 points in this game on 9 of 13 from the field. 17 points off the bench for Colin Sexton. Good to see him getting close to 30 minutes there. And Sam Decker with 12 and 9 boards. Chetty Osman with 20 points. And this is a pretty good, solid all-around game here for the Cavs. I think they should go ahead and keep going with the youth movement. Some of these veterans they have that they brought in to play with LeBron, they should go ahead and move on from those players, trade them to somewhere else where they can contribute to a contending team, because the Cavs aren't going anywhere this season, especially not after getting down to an 0-6 start and no Kevin Love for about a month, reportedly. For the Hawks, they did get 24 and 4 assists from Trae Young. Shot the ball pretty well in this one, but they're going to have a lot of up and down games throughout the season because they are a young team that doesn't really expect to do much besides build on what they have with their young core there. The Kings over the Orlando Magic in Orlando, 107-99. I think this might be the Kings' third straight victory here, and they won back-to-back games on the road in Florida. They got a big game from Buddy Hield, 25 points, 11 boards, 21 from Bjelica, and Willie Cauley-Stein with a double-double, 14 and 11. They just look very comfortable playing together. They look like a young team that actually likes sharing the court. They share the ball a lot. They get out and they run. They have a lot of speed there with De'Aaron Fox playing point guard. I like the Sacramento Kings. Don't know if they can keep this up. They are 5-3 in the season right now. I think they'll be out of the playoff picture, but at least they're going to be fun to watch all year. And for the Orlando Magic, not much here to really report on. Aaron Gordon with 18 in the loss. Just a pretty subpar game for them overall. They shot 39% from the field. It's not going to get it done in today's NBA. Pistons lose to the Celtics in Boston, 105-108. This is the Pistons' second loss of the season. Both losses have come against the Boston Celtics. Kyrie Irving looked like his old self in this game. He did put up 31 points on 16 shots, 7 of 8 from the free throw line, 4-7 from 3, 16 from Jason Tatum, 14 from Jaylen Brown, 15 off the bench from Marcus Morris. They look like a very that they're starting to catch their stride. They're now 5-2 in the season. People were worried about how they were going to be able to share the basketball. It won't take them very long to figure it out. They do have a team full of professionals. Every one of them can score. What Boston needs to do more of is actually move the ball with the pass and less one-on-one basketball. I think that will be good for them as the season progresses. I still think that right now Toronto Raptors are the best team in the East, but I think the Celtics aren't that far behind them at the moment. For the Pistons, they are now 4-2. They did get 24-15 from Blake Griffin, 17-12 from Andre Drummond, but they shot 42% from the field and only 8 of 30 from three. Kind of spelled their doom right there, and they had 17 turnovers in this one. 6 of them coming from Stanley Johnson. Not very good there. Sixers drop a road game to the Raptors. Toronto is now 7-1 on the year. This one was 129-112. I mentioned earlier on Twitter that the Sixers right now are not a very good basketball team. They play very well at home. They have not won a road game yet, and they just don't look like they have their chemistry yet. Markelle Fultz is still adjusting to being in the starting lineup, playing next to a couple of bona fide stars. I think they should move him to the bench, put JJ Redick in that starting role, and let Markelle Fultz handle the ball a lot more with the second unit, where he is the clear number one option. I think that'd be good for his confidence and for their team going forward, but we'll see what happens there. In this game, they did get 31 points from Joel Embiid. He's going to get his points no matter what. He's one of the best offensive players in the NBA. Ben Simmons in this one had a triple-double, but the wrong way. He had 11 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 turnovers. Ouch. For the Raptors, Kawhi Leonard put up 31 points in this one, shot the ball extremely well. Kyle Lowry rebounded from his only bad game in their last game. This one he had 20 points and 12 assists. He does lead the NBA in assists so far. He's been shooting the ball pretty well too. Jonas Valanciunas off the bench with 23 points. I like what they have bringing him off the bench. That gives him a different look with bringing in his size in the post. I like Siakam in the starting lineup. I would have put Serge Ibaka on the bench and kept Valanciunas starting. But it looks like they have a pretty good chemistry with their starting unit right now. Serge Ibaka can still stretch the floor as a power forward. And they just go with they have a very big team besides Kyle Lowry in the starting lineup. So I like what they have going on there in Toronto. Still the best team in the East, clearly right now. Another late game, the Rockets lose to the Trailblazers in Houston, 104-85. Houston's in trouble. They don't look good right now. They are 1-5. They shot the ball terribly. I think Chris Paul, 6 of 19. Eric Gordon, 4 of 18. Gerald Green off the bench, 1 of 10. Carmelo Anthony, 2 of 12 in the starting lineup. They just don't look like they just don't have it right now. James Harden's still hurt, but they still have enough talent, you would think, on paper to be able to be better than a 1-5 team. They're playing like shit. There's no other way you can really put it. And the Portland Trailblazers are looking really good right now. They're 5-2 in the season. They got 22 from Damian Lillard and 22 from Nurkic in the post there. So I still think that Portland's going to be down towards the bottom half of that the playoff seedings in the West. I think Houston will find a way to rebound. They do have a ton of talent. Once they get James Harden back, I think they will go on a little bit of a run because they're going to have a great offense. But right now, they look terrible. They can't stop anybody on the perimeter. But of course, they couldn't get up to their best defenders to bring in Carmelo Anthony. So this shit dims the brakes. But hopefully, as the season goes on, Houston becomes more competitive. I had them as my number 2 seed in the West. It's not looking like a too good of a pick right now, but we'll see what happens if they're able to rebound, start playing better on as the season progresses until the second month. Wizards drop a road game to the Grizzlies here, 95-107. Memphis is actually looking very surprising. They are 4-2 in the season. The Wizards are now 1-6. They look just as bad as Houston does, if not any worse. John Wall did have 22 points and 7 assists in this one, but overall, the Wizards shot 43% from the floor. They had 20 turnovers in this game, which is not good. John Wall had not even all by himself. But for the Grizzlies, 19 from Mike Conley, 19 from Marc Gasol, 20 for Garrett Temple. Garrett Temple's actually been playing really well early in the season. Nobody saw that coming. But just a lot of things that are going wrong in Houston. In Washington, they look very dysfunctional. I don't know if them bringing in Dwight Howard is going to really help much. He should be playing, I believe, on Friday. He's reported to be coming back from his butt injury. Very strange injury there. But I don't know if it's going to be enough to help them get over this hump. They're falling behind in the East, and they don't look like they have any hope right now. Not much to build on. Their only win was a road against Portland, which they looked a lot better in that game, but then they regressed back to their old ways in their last 2 games. So, not sure what's going on there with Washington. I think they need to move some people. I really do. Need a change of culture. Maybe even get rid of Scott Brooks. And if you guys can remember, he did coach the Thunder when they had Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. Not sure if he's the best at managing 2 dominant personalities like Bradley Beal and John Wall, because he had the same issues in go to in Oklahoma City just had so much talent that their talent masked a lot of their issues. I don't know if the same can be said about the Washington Wizards going forward. Maybe Scott Brooks needs to go, and one of those stars needs to be moved before the midseason. I don't know. A lot of things need to change though in Washington because they look bad right now. Looking ahead to today's schedule of NBA games for October 31st, it is Halloween night. We have about 7 games on the schedule. We have the Pistons visiting the Brooklyn Nets. I'm going to give this one to the Pistons, even though the Nets are favored by 2.5 points. Not sure how that happens. I think Brooklyn loses by about 5 in this one. Pacers visiting the Knicks. This one's going to be on ESPN. The Pacers are favored by 5.5 points. I'm going to give this one to the Pacers, but I think the Knicks do cover that spread. Nuggets visiting the Bull. Denver is a very good team, especially at home. They have a lot of offense. The Bulls don't play defense. They just gave up 150 points to the Warriors. I'm going to go with the Nuggets here. I think they score about 130 points in this game, and the Bulls get blown out again. Jazz visiting the Timberwolves. It's going to be an interesting matchup here. Minnesota's better than a 3-4 team when they are hitting on all cylinders like they were earlier this week against the Lakers. I think the Timberwolves keep that play going on, but I think the Utah Jazz do win this one. I think this is going to be a close game, though. The Jazz are favored by 2.5 points, so I'm not really sure which way to go with that one. I think they win by about 3 or 4, so I give this one to the Jazz. Pelicans visiting the Warriors in Golden State. Warriors favored by 12 points. Not sure if Anthony Davis will be playing in this one. I'm going to give this one to Golden State. They are just hitting on all cylinders right now. Their last 3 games, they've got a 51-point game from Steph Curry, a 41-point game from Kevin Durant, then a 52-point game from Klay Thompson. They're just hitting on all cylinders early in the season. I think they're going to win about 65 to 70 games this year, and I think this is going to be one of those victories coming up tonight. Later game, we have the Mavericks visiting the Lakers. Lakers is favored by 7 points. The Mavericks are better than a 2-5 team right now. The Lakers are about a 2-5 team right now. I think that the Lakers will still find a way to win this game, but I think it's a lot closer than what the spread suggests. And in our last game, we're going to have the Spurs visiting the Suns. I get to see DeAndre Ayton play against DeMar DeRozan and Marcus Aldridge. I'm going to go ahead and give this one to the Spurs on the road. I think Ayton does have a pretty solid game on ESPN tonight. But I think the Suns still have a lot of growing up they need to do here. They don't have a bona fide point guard. Devin Booker is still questionable for this game. Not sure if he's going to be playing or not. And if they don't have Devin Booker, they get blown out. With Devin Booker, I think it's a lot closer game. But I think that San Antonio will still take this one. That's our time for today, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of The Pull Up. Please make sure that you subscribe below to be notified of our videos every day, and leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think about my picks, what your thoughts are on the NBA today. Who's your favorite team in the NBA, and who's your team to finish first in both conferences? Again, my name is Tony Ramsey. This has been The Pull Up for October 31st. You guys take it easy. Peace.